Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope everyone out there is having a good morning. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple systems that are moving across the United States, kind of picking up where we left off last night. And we're just going to get into some more details about what's occurring right now and then what's going to occur most likely over the next few days. So, with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into the Euro model, which is what I have pulled up right here. And what you're seeing in front of you is the precipitation depiction. So this is basically showing you the different types of precip across the United States and kind of presently how everything's looking. You can see we've got this big low pressure system centered over the mid-Atlantic here that is making its way off to the north and east, south and southeast. We're seeing some storms and some rains extending all the way down here into north and central Florida. This is going to continue to work off to the south and east and clear the area. Up here in the mid-Atlantic area, we've got some showers as well. And then as we work a little bit further north, we've got some freezing rain, sleet, some icy conditions that are occurring here in Virginia and some parts of North Carolina here. As we continue working forward into the next few frames, you're going to see that low pressure system continues to move off to the northeast. And as it does, it's going to run into a mass of cold air, which is going to allow for a pretty significant snowfall event over a very large area here in the northeast, all the way from central, southern PA, northeastern PA, all the way through New York, and well into New England, Massachusetts, Vermont. All of these areas, I'd say 20, 30 miles away from the coast, are likely going to see 6 to 8, maybe 6 to 12 inches of snowfall. There will be a lot of areas here in the Northeast that will see accumulating snowfall. Those of you that are in New York City or here along the Atlantic coast, we'll see less snowfall totals, and that is due to the track of the system. If I switch gears here and go to the GFS and go to the newest run, and we bring up this map here, basically what's going to happen is you're going to see that low pressure system is kind of hugging the coast right here to the northeast. Because of that, right along the coastline, we're going to be in that warmer air, and so we're not going to see as much snowfall falling along the coast here in the northeast. As you move further inland and further to the north and west, those snowfall totals will quickly ramp up, and there's a distinct possibility that some heavier bands set up at times, and a few spots could end up with a pretty heavy snowfall event. As we play this out, you'll continue to see that low work its way off to the north and east. Eventually, it's completely offshore, and it slowly moves away from the area. As it does, it's going to pull the moisture with it, and eventually the snow will stop. Things will clear out for a bit, and that event will be completely behind us. At this point, I kind of want to shift gears away from this system as it's pretty much out of the picture. And I want to start talking about this next one that's going to be coming into play here in a couple of days. This is Monday morning, Monday afternoon. You can see this low pressure system starting to set up here over New Mexico, extreme northwestern Texas. And it's already got some snow that's occurring on the backside. We've got some rain on the east-southeast side on the warmer sector of the storm. And if we put this thing into motion, you can see that as it continues to progress eastward, these isobars, these blue lines, become pretty tightly compacted together. Pressure showing about a 996 here, so it's going to be pretty windy. And as we keep going, you don't really see a whole lot change. As a matter of fact, the pressure drops even a little bit more. So it looks like it's going to continue to intensify and strengthen as it moves eastward. So that means for a lot of folks here in Kansas, northwestern Missouri initially, into Iowa, that are on the colder side of the storm initially, going to be seeing snowfall. Some of us in Missouri out ahead of this low pressure system, central, southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, you're going to start off as rain, and as we move forward and progress and that low pressure system begins to work its way to the north and east, then we start pulling in that counterclockwise rotation. We start pulling in colder air behind it. You're going to see a transition from rain and warmer temperatures to colder temperatures and snow. And early indications are that, this is a strengthening low pressure system as it pulls off to the north and northeast. We're showing a 983. Really, just a few hours prior, it was showing a 993. So that indicates that the low pressure system is strengthening. There's likely going to be some very heavy bands of snowfall setting up. Again, if you stay to the south and southeast of the low pressure, you're going to see more warm air, pretty much a mostly all rain event. You have to be on the backside of these systems generally to see any amount of accumulating snowfall. And as always, that's why the track of these low pressure systems are very critical, because the exact track will determine basically what's going to happen for you. Again, if you are to the south of this center, not going to see much snow. If you stay to the north and northwest, generally you're going to be experiencing more snowfall from the system. But right now we're about 87 hours out, so this is Tuesday. So a few days away from now, and you can really see things are cranking here. 980 pressure. We've got a lot of snow, some heavier snow here in Illinois that's wrapping around this system. And yeah, we could see some pretty good snowfall totals here in the Midwest from this system. It's looking like down here to the south, if I back up a few frames, you'll see another low pressure system set up over the southern states here, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. And as we progress, you're seeing these darker greens. This is basically indicative of some heavier precip, heavier weather, basically. And as we go forward in time, you can see that kind of goes off to the east, makes its way off to the east. But it's looking like this is going to lead to some severe weather here for the south and southeast. So you're going to have some rain and a lot of snow up here in the Midwest from this one low pressure system, and you've got this separate one here near the Gulf in the southeast part of the United States that's going to contribute to a potential severe weather outbreak. If I go ahead and switch maps, we'll go take a look at the temperature map, which will kind of show this in a little bit more detail. So right here we have the 2-meter temperature model run. Basically, this is showing us what the GFS model expects the surface temperatures to be in the future down the line. So if we go ahead to about 72, 78 hours, I want to talk about something here. So you can kind of figure out what's going on here. Basically what we have is a low pressure system that's set up right in this area. Of course, you have the other one that's up here in the Midwest. What's happening is we've got a warm front that's surging to the north. So we're talking about warm Atlantic and Gulf waters. We've got a warm front that's surging to the north. Right here, we've got a cold front that's trailing behind it. All right. So right behind that, with it being a cold front, much colder air to follow. Now, this is going to create some instability because we've got this warm, moist air feeding into this much colder air mass. Where these two air masses collide, again, that's where we're going to see some instability in the atmosphere, which leads to thunderstorms, potentially severe thunderstorms, and all different modes of severe weather are possible. As we keep moving forward in time, you can see eventually that wave, works its way offshore. But really, the target area for the severe weather outbreak, as it stands right now, early next week, is going to be the southern portion of the United States, southeastern portion of the United States. So you're talking from, Louisiana, covering southern Alabama, Mississippi, the Panhandle. And then as it moves to the east, that severe threat will then leave these areas. So that colder air funnels in on the backside, and that severe threat will take place over areas like southeast Georgia, north and central Florida. And, we could see some severe weather in those locations as well. We still are waiting on some more details for this. So as they become available and things start to become more clear, we can dive in and take a deeper look and discuss further on what is exactly expected. Switching gears again, pivoting away from that real quick, let's go ahead and talk about these snowfall totals. that we're expected to see here from these winter storms. Again, if we go ahead in time, 48 hours, a couple of days, you can see some pretty heavy snowfall impacting pretty much the entirety of the Northeast. Again, like I said earlier, a swath of 6 to 12 inches is very possible in all these areas. These purples and pinks are heavier snowfall totals, but even these darker shades of blue is 4, 5, 6 inches, so still a decent snowfall. You can see that line extend all the way through West Virginia, even as far south as North Carolina. So as we go forward in time, that system's over with. Now here we go. If you look in the center of the United States, like we talked about with that last system, that's sweeping across New Mexico, Texas, eventually going to work its way up here into like the Boot Hill, Missouri, and then proceed northward. If we go forward in time, you can see that snowpack building in. And, again, this coincides with the strengthening of the low, because you watch this, snowfall totals are expected to increase across Kansas. Kansas looks like initially it's going to stay on the northwest side of the low. Low is going to track to the south, so it's going to stay in that cold air. As we continue going forward, look how bright some of these totals get. I mean, you're talking, 13, 15, 16 inches of snowfall showing up on this estimate. This is the European model right now, and this is showing that, generally speaking, a swath of heavy snowfall is expected all the way through Kansas, central and northern, northeast Missouri, northern Missouri, into central, northeastern Illinois. This general area right here looks like it's going to see the heaviest snowfall from this next system. And then this extends all the way up into places like Michigan and Wisconsin as well into Canada. If you look further to the south, you can see these totals quickly diminish and fall off. Again, this line that you're seeing here is generally following the anticipated track of the low. Again, the low pressure center is right here. You're in the warmer air. You're in the rain. You're not seeing much snowfall south of the track. You stay to the north and northwest of the track with the center, you're going to be seeing a pretty significant snowfall event over the center of the United States. All right, everybody, that's your morning update. If you guys got any questions for me, comments, concerns, please leave those down below. If you got any suggestions, I'm always open to hear that, any constructive criticism. But with all that said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you again soon.